Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Okay, so we just saw Warcraft. It's based off of the game that was released in 2004, and
to be confused with the World of Warcraft games.
Yeah.
I mean, they all take place in the same universe, but this movie is more based on the stories from the Warcraft games, like 1 through 3, as opposed to the MMO game.
Exactly, and this review is going to be very spoil heavy.
Yep.
So for all of you orcs out there
that haven't seen the damn movie yet, go ahead and we'll give you some time to go check that out and come back.
Yeah.
For all of you in the Alliance that have seen the movie already,
I don't get it.
It's like the Horde and the Alliance. It's a whole thing. Regardless, we're starting the review now.
Okay. So this film was directed by Duncan Jones,
right?
Who also directed Moon and Source Code,
right? Okay.
Yep.
Two great movies.
Two great movies. Yeah.
Do we want to just start it off right here and now and just say it?
Well,
do you want to save the rating for later?
Yeah, we'll definitely. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll do the rating in the beginning. I just want to point out that Duncan Jones is actually the son of David Bowie.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool fact that everybody should, know.
Yeah, if you don't know, now you know.
Right.
But
that whole thing. Okay, so Xavier, what would you give Warfart?
Honestly, I really wanted to like this movie a lot more than I did, but I'm gonna have to just give it a solid 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'm gonna do a letter grade. I do better with letter grades.
Okay.
I would give it a D plus. If I was curving the grade, it'd be a C minus.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? You start.
Because we're just we're coming fresh out of the theater.
Yeah. We literally just saw it like a couple, an hour, 2 hours ago?
Yeah, like 2 hours ago. Okay, so I guess the story of this movie is it's the orcs, they're coming from their realm, and I can't really remember what it was called right now, but that's really not that important. They're coming from their realm because they've Gul'dan is like their wizard. He's he's like a warlock, and he's got this green magic called the Fel, and basically he's been using this magic and taking the life from the land itself and the people, and essentially killed their world. So they need to make their way into a new world.
Yep.
And keep their people alive.
He's technically the Donald Trump of orcs.
Yep, pretty much. We're gonna build a wall, and then we're gonna go through it into the other world.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. We're gonna build a portal, and we're gonna go through the portal,
and we're gonna take over this other world of these people. They're already over there, but we're gonna send them back to our world and take theirs.
Yeah, and this isn't a political show.
No,
we just
like having fun.
Yeah, we make fun of everybody.
So it's basically the orcs versus humans, a fight for Azeroth. It's the leading actors on the human side it's surprisingly half the cast of Preacher in this movie. Dominic Cooper and was it Ruth Negga?
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah,
Ruth.
I'm pretty sure that's her name.
Yeah.
And Ben Foster as Medivh.
Ruth Negga. Yeah.
Ben Foster as Medivh, which was interesting to say the least. We'll get more. We'll get more into that later.
Travis Fimmel, I'm saying. Yeah.
Travis Fimmel as
Fimmel from Vikings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Lothar, which was interesting because halfway through the whole time they were calling him Lothar, and then in the last 10 minutes they started calling him Anduin, which was really weird because they're two different characters.
Yeah, he was basically I can't think of his damn... Yeah, Aragorn, but not cool.
Aragorn Light.
He was Aragorn, but not Aragorn. He was the GoBot Aragorn.
Yeah, like the go from the GoBots to Transformers. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Not as interesting.
So right off the bat, though, I want to say, like, I want to start with the good.
Okay.
The CGI was really well done, I think.
Yep, that's one of my goods.
Like, the orcs looked pretty much like, not that they look straight up real, but like they put a lot of detail, and you could tell they put a lot of time into making sure that they looked as realistic as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. Because like you even leaned over to me while we were watching the movie, and you're like, it looks like real skin.
It does, yeah. No, it really. That was when the sunlight. It looked like
it was like right at like dusk as the sun was coming down. So it was like right at like the perfect place. It just the way it reflected off of them, even though they weren't really there, like that spoke volumes to me as like how much time they put into this movie.
Yeah, it was
like you could even see
visually good.
Like with the orcs, you could even see like the dirt under their fingernails, which was like that was nuts.
It shows how far we came with CGI technology. I think it was motion capture too.
Right. Yeah.
It had to be motion capture.
Yeah.
It had to. With those teeth.
And it's funny because we had just recently on Wednesday it was after we recorded, we saw Ghostbusters.
Right.
And we had a really good time watching it, but we couldn't help but notice like how bad like the CGI of like Zool and the ghost dogs kind of looked.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look, Ghostbusters is a perfect movie.
In my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion too, it's a perfect movie. Obviously, in 1984, they didn't have that technology, but you can see how far we came.
Right. I mean, so going from Ghostbusters on Wednesday and seeing how those effects may not have held up as well over the years, and then seeing Warcraft today, it's it really just goes to show just how far we've come in technology wise.
Yep, and just for a heads up, we're just comparing the effects,
right?
Yeah,
not the movies themselves.
Yeah. Because Ghostbusters is
pretty good,
far superior, pretty good. Sure, no, it's far like not even the same fucking sport,
right?
All right.
What would you say? It's like a few positives from you.
A few positives for me is that I thought like you said, the visuals and motion capture are top notch. I'm going to say this, and don't think the movie is amazing just because I'm saying this. It did a really, really good job bringing me into a fantasy world. The last time I felt like this was probably when I watched either... From what I can remember. Yeah, the first Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Not comparing the movies.
Because I'm sure a lot of people are going to compare the two just because they're both two fantasy movies.
Yeah. Not comparing the quality. I'm talking about actually, in the setting and, being in the setting and, like, the costumes and...
Right, engrossing you in this world.
Exactly. Now, where the negatives start is... the story within this world.
Right. It's like the writing may not have been the best because like you and I, not that, we're better than anybody else, but I'm sure most people can see from a mile away where this movie is going once you get to a certain point.
Okay.
Like, it was pretty predictable.
It was really fucking predictable.
Like at times I felt like I was getting beaten over the head with like the symbolism and foreshadowing.
Oh my god. Okay, so in the film, the main character, Lothar, has a son. Mm-hmm. And the son, like, as soon as I saw the son, I was like, he's dead.
Yeah, the son was like he was like a member of like the royal army.
Yeah.
And Lothar is like the commander.
Yeah.
And at one point his son gets injured and he's like, no, it's all right, Dad. I have to protect the king, right? And he's like, you're done for today. But his son goes out anyway. And the second, like, they had that encounter with each other, you leaned over to me and you're like, so he's dead, right?
Yep. And then, like, we saw the orc later. I forgot his...
Blackhand.
Blackhand was played by Clancy Brown, by the way.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
For, the listeners, he's the voice of... He is the voice of Lex Luthor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the motion captured
Right.
actor for that. Yeah. So that orc killed his son, and you can just
You
sense
saw
it.
it coming
know exactly.
from miles away.
If you watch movies on the regular like we do, you can call it. You see behind the shit covered curtains.
Exactly.
You see behind it.
Like, they were in the middle of this battle, and it's funny because, and I kept telling you while that scene was going on, that they ripped it straight out of 300. Straight from 300 to this movie. They went to meet up with like the good orcs, and can I just say before I really get into this, I feel like where the movie shined was, the CG and like the orcs. The orcs had better writing than the humans, I feel like.
I think
overall, when you compare the two,
the orcs were better characters.
Right. I was more interested in the orc story than the humans.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. It was funny too. You mentioned the 300 thing because, the son was like, getting a high body count with the orcs, and he kind of did do the 300 thing. Like, he gave him the look like, good job, son.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm proud of you, son.
I'm proud of you. Like, you knew where it was going.
But
you knew where it was going.
Exactly. Like, they were fighting like in the middle of like this of two mountains, like in a valley, and
doesn't bad shit always happen?
Yeah.
In a valley.
Yeah, they were fighting in that area, and then all of a sudden, they get ambushed, and Medivh, he like puts up this lightning force field. And, of course, it comes up right in between Lothar and his son.
Right.
And his son is on the wrong side of the force field with all the orcs, and they're backed up against the force field. Everybody gets fucking ripped to shreds. His son's the last one standing, and he's like, I'm gonna go out with honor. Or like a bitch. Right in front of my dad.
Yeah, well, yeah, I called that. And the thing, you can have a family member die in a film. You can make good drama, but at the end of the day, I didn't give a shit about these characters, man.
Yeah,
I did not care. Everything was cliche. You had the nerd that liked to read and can do spells.
Right.
You had the badass
leader.
soldier. You had the
honorable warrior.
The honorable warrior
with Duratan. The orc, which was played by Toby Kebbell. Which is funny, because when he first came on screen, I leaned over to Luca, I'm like, it's Dr. Doom! I mean, he's a really good actor, so I'm glad that, like, he was able to... Granted, this movie, I think, was filmed way before Fantastic Four.
I liked him in Rock and Rolla.
Yeah.
He was solid in that.
Yeah, Toby Kebbell's a good actor, I'm glad he's,
he was
he's
also
still doing
in
a lot of stuff.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He played I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. I've seen the movie once. He played the bad monkey.
No. That was a different actor. That wasn't Toby Kebbell.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I'm pretty sure. But
I'm about to prove you wrong, man. How much you want to bet?
I'll bet you $1.
Okay.
But I want to say, though, like I said, the more interesting characters were the orcs. And on the teetering end of that, and it's funny to say because this character is surprise, half human, half orc.
Not Rise, I meant Dawn.
Dawn of the Planet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then
I'm sorry. I got my monkey movies mixed up.
I get to keep my $1, but technically you're right.
But we were both right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We like to have fun.
So Garona was an interesting character, but at the end, like here's the real big issue with this movie. I feel like it was a bit too long, because it was 2 hours, but it felt like 2.5. Like, it just started really just dragging along in, like, the last, like, 45 minutes.
Oh, my God. Honestly, it felt like, if you ever worked in retail...
It's like when you're finally getting to the last hour of your shift.
Not even.
And it just takes forever.
Not even. Besides that, this movie felt like a customer that doesn't get to the frickin' point.
Right.
They just keep going, yeah, and then this. I'm like, okay, but what do you need?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
We're at point A. I need you to get to point B real fucking quick.
Exactly. Yeah, but I agree. The movie was I felt like it was way too long, and with all that time they had, they could have done a lot of character, moments and
I feel like
development.
there was a
'Cause
lot of forced.
you had a great setting,
Yeah.
but shitty characters in my
And
opinion.
you had
of course.
really good actors too.
Yeah,
And it's what we were saying earlier when we were sitting down for lunch. It was like, it sucks to see actors that are capable of so much more doing something, not necessarily beneath them, but like giving a lesser performance. And I always say that, I feel like it's the director's fault for accepting such a performance. Not to say that all of the performances are bad. It's just, it's good actors doing the best with what they had.
Exactly. And Duncan Jones, from what I've seen, is a good director. This to me is a
I wouldn't say that this is like a blemish on his career.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't call it a strike. I'd call it
a low point.
A foul ball.
That's a good one. That's a good comparison.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the best way I can.
But I have to say though, the person that I was most disappointed with in this movie was Ben Foster.
Okay.
As Medivh. Like, not that I think Ben Foster is a bad Medivh. I don't really I've played the games a bit, but I don't know everything there is to know about the World of Warcraft lore or the Warcraft lore in general. But I just felt like Ben Foster kind of phoned it in a bit.
I thought he worked well with what he had. I just think that he did a good job. I just think that it was a miscast.
He felt very out of place.
I felt like it should have the role should have gone to an older actor.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know if in the game because the guy's a what? He's a
wizard.
He's a wizard basically, right? So maybe he has the power, to look young and stuff like that. Maybe,
perhaps.
Perhaps. But I don't know how he looks like in the game.
From the one picture that I showed you earlier, he does look a bit kind of young, but it's just, I don't know. It's just the performance it wasn't there for me.
Right. I thought. I mean, I disagree with you. I thought he did fine. With the lines he was giving.
Okay.
I can see why you were disappointed by it, but yeah, I think he did fine. And
they were just really just nailing it in hard. Somebody's betraying somebody in this movie, I wonder who it is.
Oh, I knew Ben Foster was the bad guy.
Exactly.
I knew he was the bad guy.
It was obvious.
When he burned the what's the character's name?
Calgar?
Yeah, when he was burning all of his research.
Right.
We were like, dude, can you not be any more obvious?
Exactly.
Can you not be any more... throw some freaking curveballs, man. Sorry about all the baseball references, by the way.
But then it got really confusing towards the end, because he's just like... towards the end of the movie, they find out that Medivh is the one behind bringing the orcs to this world, and he starts to turn into a demon, which was really cool to see. The demons on screen with the horns and the wings and all that.
Is it just called the demon?
Yeah, they're demons, and then there's demon hunters and whatnot. But
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see that. But then, after a point when he's defeated, he's like, "Oh, I was poisoned by the Fel," and it was very flip-floppy on whether or not he was evil. It's either he was good and decided to turn bad, or he was good and then something tainted him and he's like, I don't even remember what I did in all that time.
Yeah,
if he's gonna be bad, make him bad, or if there's someone else pulling the strings, tell us that.
It's
they
okay.
literally just kind of went he could be good, he could be bad. I don't know. You figure it out. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna write it in.
I mean, it's okay to have a complicated character, on the edge of darkness and light, but at the end of the day, and I'm sorry if I sound douchey when I say this,
you need to put a line in the sand.
I didn't care.
Huh?
I did not care. I didn't feel the stakes. I didn't care about these characters.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I didn't care, because I like I've said before, I gravitated more towards the orcs story than the humans. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can say that I didn't really care what happened to the humans, but I was genuinely interested and, pulled into the orcs and what they had going on, which it was kind of similar. I feel like they did it better with Ogrim, the second in command to Duratan. the bald-headed.
Yeah.
Like,
the one that let the wife go and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Gotcha.
he was like a morally ambiguous character, and they did it way better with him than they did with like Medivh, with Ben Foster's character. You know, he was struggling with, okay, well, I'm following this leader, but he's evil, because he was like it was Gul'dan that they were following on the orc side,
Right.
and like he was just straight up evil.
Right.
And he wanted someone else to take over for Durotan because Durotan wouldn't follow him. So he wanted to get Ogrim. And at first he was going to follow him because he told them about the truce that was going to be set up with Durotan's tribe and the humans.
Right.
And it was really interesting to see a complicated character that treaded that line between good and evil.
Okay.
So
maybe they should have made him the. I mean, look, I don't know if these characters are directly from the game, right? Or is it made up characters for the movie?
No, they're...
And I'm a complete stranger to Warcraft, by the way.
Okay. From what I can tell, like I said, it's more so based off of the Warcraft games and not the World of Warcraft MMO. But the characters are kind of just there in like name for the most part. Like Ogrim Doomhammer is kind of, because they mentioned it. There was that Durotan's father was Garrod, and he's like a really big character. So it's like some of like like Gul'dan, Medivh, Lothar, Anduin, all those characters. They're in the games, but it's not like to the exact extent of what was in the movies.
Okay, all right.
So they're just kind of there in name, just for like recognition's sake. I would feel like
it just stinks, man, because like you had this a great playground, but nobody was playing the game.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like movie game adaptations, like 9.999999 out of 10 times, they suck, or they're mildly entertaining.
This falls under the latter.
I think
somewhat. It's mild. I would say it's mildly.
I say it's mildly entertaining, and I think if you play the game, if you have played a game,
there's
or
enough
a big
there
fan,
for you
you're
to
gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, there's enough there for you to enjoy. Like they have a lot of little references, like the Murlocs, the little like fish.
Is that what the people were laughing
thing?
at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a nod to a Murloc. There were they had the sheep spell, which was really funny. There's a lot there. Like they did have the Doom Hammer, which was cool. That was the hammer that Ogrim was using. So it was like,
yeah.
There's a lot there. Like I said, the characters are there in name.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's enough there to bring in like the game, like the people that play the games. But if you have a hard time separating the critical side of your brain from the part of the brain that's just entertained, then you might not have like as good of a time with this movie. Like, we were entertained.
I was in it in the beginning.
Yeah,
I was really into it, and then it just
started
dragging, and then I want to say, as soon as it like for me, like when it first started, I was getting flashbacks of like 80s fantasy films such as like Labyrinth, Willow, and the Dark Crystal almost.
Okay.
Not really comparing them story-wise, but fantasy wise, you know what I mean? I mean, like, take it or leave, take or leave that reference. That's just how I felt. But it was a slope.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, I was like, can we just fucking like hurry up? Come on. If I'm watching a movie and I'm looking at my watch or clock, whatever, that's not good.
Yeah, like
That's
about
not
how
good.
like when it started feeling like it was dragging, I actually like pulled my phone out and like looked it up just to see how much longer we had left in this movie.
Oh god.
That's not to say that like, oh my god, this movie's so terrible. When is it going to be over? But like, there are points where you start to feel fatigued by the movie itself.
That's not good. That's really not good. Like, some of my favorite movies are like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and It
exactly.
just
Like I
flies
don't have
on by.
a problem with longer movies.
No, I don't.
But
Just
you
make it
have to
interesting.
keep me involved and engrossed in this world.
Keep
and
it interesting.
Right. And
Didn't you feel like you were? I mean, like for a stranger to this, which I am. Didn't you feel like a stranger is kind of dropped in into like a Game of Thrones episode, like season 4, episode 3, like you're wondering like what the hell's going on?
I could
who's
see
this?
that.
Who's that?
Yeah, because even
That's how I felt sometimes.
even for like, and granted, like I said, I'm not like I don't know all the lore. I don't know like a whole hell of a lot about like the backstory.
I mean,
but
I love fantasy
do know,
movies.
Like
I love fantasy movies, so I understood what was going on.
Right.
I was like, okay, this guy's this guy, this guy's that guy. This
like
guy,
it's not to say that the movie's hard to follow.
No.
But like I even felt like at times I was like, wait, what? Who's that? What is this? What exactly is going on here? Like, it's not to say the movie's confusing. It's just like
No, it's very by the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I knew exactly what I was getting into watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have to give credit where credit is due. And, you know, for those of you who, you know, disregarded the spoiler warning, here's a straight up spoiler for the end of the movie. It doesn't have a happy ending. And I have to give it credit for that.
I agree.
I thought that was really ballsy.
I agree.
To end it on a somber note because Durotan did not survive this movie. You know, the main orc did not. He challenged Gul'dan and lost.
Yeah, he straight up lost. You know what? Thinking about it, yeah, I do give credit to that.
Yeah,
I really
do. Like, you know, the movie, it had its rise in the beginning. It plateaued for a while, and then it was slowly sinking. But like the last like 10 minutes, kind of, not saying that it like made it worth it, but like, you know, it brought it back up a bit for me.
He did straight up kill him.
Yeah,
he did.
Durotan straight up didn't make it. The king, Dominic Cooper's character, he like heroically sacrificed himself by allowing was it Ganora or Garona's character, the female half orc half human, to kill him so that she would be regarded as a hero to the orcs, which I think is really interesting. You know, like they have their own culture. If you kill the leader of another warring faction, you know, that makes you like some kind of big hotshot. So like that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I like that they ended this movie on a somber note. It's a bit different, and you know, I don't think every movie needs to have, you know, happily ever after.
No,
so
yeah, I totally agree.
This falls under the category of movies that ended in a very gray area, and that's fine by me. So
yeah.
credit where credit is due for that.
I think that what was silly was Dominic Cooper's character and Garona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they were discussing their tactics in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, he's like, look around, we're surrounded. I'm like,
yeah.
And then they like panned out and it showed, yeah, you really are surrounded in this huge fucking battle.
Like no other orc was looking over there. It was like, I should stab him right now and make, you know, be the top dog.
Exactly. I want to be honored.
Yeah.
No, they just...
I did find it funny too that she stabbed him in the back of the neck.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be kind of...
I thought because she like grabbed his head and he like got this really like it felt really like sexual. Like she grabbed him by the back, like she grabbed his head and like leaned it back like she was gonna slit his throat, and then she just stabbed him in the back of the head or in the back of the neck.
Yeah,
and like I don't know, it was an interesting movie to say the least, and I would say
I think Dominic Cooper did a good job. By the way, I just want to say that for what he had.
I feel like he had fun with his role, but I wouldn't say he had like one of the better performances.
Do you think he like phoned it in kind of? It seemed like it a little bit.
A little bit. Like I said, he seemed like he had fun with the role, which is fine. Yeah. I can't say that I would recommend this movie. I would say wait until like because you know we're trying to get this one out early. If you haven't seen it yet. I would say wait until it comes out. You know, I wouldn't pay, full price to see it at the theater.
Right, like we went to a matinee.
Right.
So we paid like $4 or $5.
Yeah, so if you
Just
can
for the
see
hell of
it,
it.
for a cheaper price,
Yeah.
then go for that. If you're waiting to I would just say see it at a discounted price or wait until it comes out online.
Mm-hmm. Right now, if anybody's curious, I know everybody doesn't follow this, but it has a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would give it more than that.
You would give it more than that?
Yeah.
I think that it... You know what? Yeah, 20. I think 25 is
a bit harsh.
I think it's justifiable. I really do. I definitely see the faults in this movie. It was very paint by the numbers. But, the goods in it are the visuals, the motion capture work, the costumes are great. Some of the performances were, pretty good. But the story was just very bland, paint by the numbers. I think they had a better opportunity to make something more interesting and more in-depth with characters and such a cool world.
Right. This movie, I mean, thinking back on it now and really, trying to put my head into that story, it very much felt like it was set up for a bigger story.
Because this is the beginning. This is the beginning, but it was a very cliche start.
Right. Okay.
I think it was very, if I can call... if I can basically call plot by plot, by each point, and just go, this is gonna happen here, this is gonna happen here, and it happens. That's fine if it's cliche, but do it in an interesting way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't have it be so melodramatic, if that makes sense. With the sun dying, I didn't care. I didn't care. That I basically came out of this movie not really grasping onto any of the characters.
I felt like some of the relationships in the movie were a little bit forced.
They were.
Believe it or not, I feel like that the little wizard guy that Calgar. I feel like he had a little bit more chemistry with Garona than Lothar, because technically I don't know if they did or they didn't end up sleeping with each other.
You gotta have the big cliche. You gotta have the big tough guy date the tough female warrior.
Yeah.
You can't, because like you said, I'll break you in half.
Yeah. That was actually pretty funny, that scene where they're all just sitting around the campfire and they're just there's just would you fuck me? And she's like, no, because I'd kill you. You would die having sex with me. And then Lothar's like, well, what about me? She's like, yeah, you'd probably die too, but you'll do.
You know who can really withstand green bitches? Captain Kirk.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. That's all I gotta say.
All right. So, overall, I can't say I would recommend this movie. Like I said, see it for a discounted price. Fans of the game, there's stuff there for you to enjoy. It'll keep you entertained, but it's not the best written movie. Mm-hmm. It's on the teetering towards the lower end of middle of the road for me.
Right.
So, thinking about it now, I'm leaning towards a 5.5.
Okay.
So 5.5, 6.
5.5 to 6. Okay, my final say is this. I recommend it to fans of the game. I also, because the fans of the game were in the theater, they were having a good time with it. Somebody even clapped, which was weird. I recommend it to fans of the game. I really don't recommend it to
the general audience.
To somebody looking for a straight up action movie, if I can say. I do recommend it to fantasy buffs that really do enjoy all types of fantasy movies. But I don't really recommend it to a general audience, like you said. I think that there's juicy nuggets for fans, which is a good sign. And like I said, if you're really into like a fantasy world and you want to get dropped in, and kill, how long was it? 2 hours? 2 hours and 3 minutes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to kill 2 hours and 3 minutes after a long day at work or had a hard day, it doesn't hurt.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Warcraft.
Yeah. So, see it or don't.
Yep.
It's fine. It's passable.
Yeah, it is. And also, don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of
let us
Warcraft.
know. Let us know who your favorite character is. Why you might have liked it. Why you might have hated it. Tell us your favorite expansion. If you have one, tell us your favorite expansion. Tell us if the movie was, justified the fun of the game. Does
the movie affect your overall opinion of this world as a whole now?
Exactly. So anyways, Dropkick Skeptics are signing out.
See ya.